Hi E101, it is our last cooking video for the school year. I'm really sad, but I'm very thankful that I'm able to share my kitchen with you. And for this last cooking event, I'm going to make donuts, which you guys voted on. So we're gonna go over my tools first. My tools for today, for part one, is a large bowl in plastic wrap, a scale, a measuring cup, measuring spoons, a rubber spatula, my KitchenAid mixer, and the dough hook. And my ingredients are flour, sugar, 1 egg I will need, instant yeast, salt, milk, cooking spray, and butter. Alright, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mix my flour, sugar, and yeast together using my scale. I'm going to tare this, make sure my flour is 22.5 ounces. Right on the dot. Now I'm going to add my sugar. I'm going to tare this again, and it should be 3.5 ounces. A little above, but a little extra sugar won't hurt. And now I need 1 teaspoon of yeast. Alright, I'm going to use my spatula to mix this. Okay, so I mixed my flour, sugar, and yeast together. I'm now going to add 1.5 cups of milk and my 1 egg. So first thing I'm going to do is pour my milk for 1.5 cups. I'm using whole milk. I'm going to pour that right in. And I'm going to add my egg. And then I'm going to give that a stir at my spatula until it's mixed in. Okay, so my ingredients are all mixed in. I'm going to put it on my KitchenAid mixer. And I'm going to mix up my dough hook for 2 minutes on medium-low speed until a cohesive ball forms. Okay, so I have a cohesive ball. I'm going to open up my KitchenAid, take the dough hook off, and cover it with plastic wrap, and let it sit for 20 minutes. Okay, so my dough has been resting for 20 minutes. I'm going to uncover it. And I'm going to put my dough hook, ooh, it's really sticky, back on my stand mixer. I'm going to go ahead and take the dough off first because this dough is really dense so far. But we're going to add more ingredients. I'm going to add some salt and sprinkle it on. I'm going to mix this for 5 to 7 minutes until the dough pulls from the sides. Okay, so my dough has been mixing for 5 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and add my butter a little bit at a time while the mixer is running. And you might see the dough pull apart and then come back together again as we're mixing. And this might take 5 to 7 minutes to incorporate the butter into the dough. As you see, the dough looks like it's getting a little bit more wet. Alright, so my dough has been mixing for a while, and as you can see, the dough is clearing the sides of the bowl. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. I am going to take it off of the dough hook. And I have a grease bowl over here. I am going to roll this into a nice ball, tucking the bottom underneath. And I am going to place it in here for 1 hour, covered, and then after that hour I'm going to put it in the refrigerator overnight. Good morning, EE 101. So my dough has been in the fridge for a while. I'm gonna go over part 2. So part 2 tools that I need a Dutch oven, a loaf pan, a measuring tape, a 3-inch cookie cutter, a 1-inch cookie cutter, a rolling pin, parchment paper, and this baking sheet here. And my ingredients are really simple this time. I just need my dough that I made yesterday, flour, and the oil that I'm going to fry the donuts in. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I have to roll out the dough on my counter. So I'm going to lightly flour my counter. Get this out of the way. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to roll it out into a 10 by 13 rectangle, rolling out as much air out as possible. I'm just going to plop it. Right on my counter. Let's get rolling. Okay, so I rolled out my dough into a 13 by 9 rectangle. This is a little bit bigger, but it's okay. Now I'm going to use my bigger cookie cutter and I'm going to cut my rounds. Like so, and then using my small one right in the middle, like so. And I'm going to do that 12 times because I get 12 donuts out of this dough. And as soon as I cut it out, I'm just going to place it on this parchment paper. Okay, so I've cut my donuts and I placed them on my parchment paper. I cut a few extra 1-inch little holes for some munchkins. I know they're some people's favorites. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the oven, the top rack, and then I'm going to take my loaf pan, and I've been boiling water while I was cutting out the donuts. I'm going to go ahead, fill this, and then close it, and let it rise for 1 hour. Alright, so my dough has been rising for an hour, and my oil is 360 degrees. 360 degrees, so I'm going to put these carefully in the oil, and they're going to cook for about 1.5 minutes on each side. And using this new tool called a spider web spatula, I'm going to help flip them over. Alright, time to flip them. Alright, so in between frying, just want to make sure it's still between 350 and 360. It's looking good. I'm going to go ahead and add my last batch of donuts. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oh no, a little one got in there. Taking the last round of them out. Alright, last little bit is the rounds or munchkins. They won't take nearly as long, and I'm going to constantly stir these ones to make sure they get evenly fried. Alright, now I just let them cool for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'm going to ice them. Alright, so I'm ready to ice my donuts. I made 2 icings. I made a glaze and a chocolate glaze. Alright, so I have dipped my donuts and I'm going to let them cool for about 15 minutes. So the donuts have been cooling for a while. They're ready to be enjoyed. Let's see. Leo's going to try a munchkin. Leo, do you want it? Huh? Leo's going to try a munchkin. Is it good?